Okay, so I have the file I've shared here with you. So what we're going to do is you can see I've pulled one of the wheels off and split it up into its different components. Right here, just pulled it out of the side of the car. So we're going to recreate these components. So first of all, just click on Basic Shapes, and we're going to go up to the cylinder, drag a cylinder out, and I'm just going to kind of readjust my view here, and I'm first of all going to make all the sides really smooth by putting the sides up to 64, and we're going to try and make this size right here, this circle, same size as the circle on the top. So to make that easy, I'm going to first of all turn off snapping to turn my grid off. I'm going to kind of hover this over this piece right here, kind of push it into it. I'm just going to highlight both pieces, just left clicking my mouse, and I'm going to click the letter L for align. Then I'm just going to align, click on this little circle here, and I'm going to click on this little circle here, and that will put it, you can see it puts it right into the middle. So now I'm just going to click on top right here, and then I'm going to make sure that my view is on perspective view right here with the flat line along the bottom. You can see the difference. You want it on perspective view with the flat line across the bottom. And then I'm just going to hold down Shift on my keyboard, and I'm just going to kind of adjust the size of my circle. So I'm just going to kind of move it, and you can see it disappears around the bottom. I'm actually going to drag my circle up a little bit longer. Click on top again and just kind of drag it in. You can see that is pretty good. So 5.21, I'm just going to put it at 5.1 and 5.1. Okay, and that seems about right. That seems pretty much the size that uh, this cylinder is right here. Next we want to get the height, the same height as the cylinder, so I'm going to click on the little square on the top, and I'm going to make this to 30. So click on that little square on the top here, and I'm going to put this at 30. So there's 30 right there. Okay, so we've got an identical axle. We need this little piece right here that is going to hold our wheel on. So I'm going to click on my cylinder. I'm just going to duplicate it by clicking on the duplicate button. And you can see there is another one inside of it. I'm just going to squish it down, and I'm going to try and get the size on this one the same size as this one. So I'm just going to kind of move it. This one you can eyeball because it doesn't have to be exact. I'm just going to grab it and pull it out and say, I don't know, that's maybe kind of the same size. It doesn't really matter. And I'm going to try and make it the same height. So I'm just going to grab the top, and that looks about the same height. This doesn't have to be exact. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put this inside here. I'm going to highlight both pieces. I'm going to click L, or my align button. Align is right up here, so I'm going to click that. And I'm just going to make sure that piece is in exactly the center. There we go. It's pretty much in the center. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to use this little arrow icon right here to drag the piece up. And just look at it from another direction. I could drag it up a little bit more, I guess. Just look at it from the back side. That's about right. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so now we have recreated that piece. So next we're going to do this, the actual wheel itself, and that's really going to be pretty easy. I'm just going to click on this center one here, and I'm going to duplicate it. So I'm going to click on the duplicate function right here. And then I'm going to hit D, and D will drop it down to the bottom. And yet again, this doesn't have to be exact, so I'm going to make my wheel a little bit bigger. And let's just put this wheel kind of, well, no, that's not going to work. Let's make this wheel, back that up. Let's get this wheel a bit bigger, so a bit taller. So I'm just going to, there we go. It's a little bit taller than the other wheel now. So I'm going to drag this other wheel in right here. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to highlight everything. I'm going to click L, and I'm going to get everything all lined up in the middle. Perfect. All right, now I am just looking at this little orange wheel part right here, and I'm just going to make it, I think I'll drag, I'm holding on the shift button right now. I'm just kind of dragging it out to get it so it's sizing proportionally. And I'm just going to make it a tiny bit bigger. Holding down the shift button right now. And then I'm just going to kind of squish it down to about that size there. Okay, that looks pretty good. I mean, it's a bit bigger than this wheel, but that's okay. Okay, now that we've got our wheel, we've got our axle, we don't have a hole in the middle of the wheel yet. And whatever this hole size is right here, I'm just going to actually, I'll pull the wheel out to the side. This size right here is 5.1 and 5.1. I'm going to make, I don't know, I'm going to make the wheel size maybe 6 millimeters. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little piece right here. I am going to duplicate it, bring it out, and then I'm going to turn that into a hole. So I'm going to make that a hole right there. Highlight it. And then I'm just going to align it. So I'm going to click on here and I'm going to click on here, and that should stick it right in the center. Now, if you recall, 5.1, I'm actually going to change it to 6 and 6. So it's going to be bigger. So that way this part will fit through the middle. Sorry, I'm going to have to align that again. So I'm going to click on align, I'm going to align that with that, and then I'm going to highlight both pieces and I am going to group them by clicking on the group function right there. And there we go. It's not exact, it doesn't have rounded corners, but that's okay, this is fine. And then this will kind of go in the middle like that. Now the last piece is, this is the end piece right here. That's going to stick on the end. You can see that's how the wheel stays on right there. This piece will use a similar style. We'll just go in and we'll grab this little center piece right here. We'll duplicate it. We'll bring it out. And the size here, I'm going to make it, I'm just going to kind of eyeball this. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to hold down my shift button and make it a bit larger. And I'm just going to rotate my position. I'm going to click D to drop it down. And I'm just going to grab this little this little up part, this sort of little square on the top to make it bigger. Okay, it's not rounded on the bottom, but that's okay. Okay, same thing here. We want this to be tight fit, so we're gonna change our size by 0.4. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this piece right here, and I'm going to duplicate it. Just click on the duplicate button, and I'm gonna bring it out. And this time, so 5.1 times 0.4 would be 5.5. So I'm going to click this, and I'm going to change this one here to 5.5, and I'll change this one to 5.5. Now, depending on your printer, this might not be big enough, but it generally works pretty well for snap fitting something in. So I'm going to highlight both pieces, and I'm just going to align it. So I'm going to click on Align up on the top. I'm going to click that. I'm going to click that. I'm going to click on this middle piece here, and I'm going to click on Hole. I'm going to make it a hole. So there we go. So now it's a hole. And I'm going to raise it up, I don't know, let's say 3 millimeters. 3 millimeters. Okay. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight both pieces, and I am going to group them. And there we go. We have all of our assembly pieces ready to go. So my suggestion before you start on the car body or any of this is that you learn how to do that, and once that's done, you do a test print on it and see if it actually fits and it works, and then you can move on to the next part, which is creating the car body. Hope this is helpful.